Hello and welcome to By the Mash Tun, a podcast by a couple of nerds where we talk about some beer, brew some beer, and just have a little chat about some beer. How are you doing? I'm Mike Harrison Wood.
I'm Carl Noble. And not only do we brew some beer, but we also go to places where they also brew beer.
Sometimes it does happen.
It does. And today is one of those days. So we're just getting ready to head off to Elusive Brewing.
Yeah.
Where we're going to meet Andy up there, and he's brewing a beer for us. Well, not for us today, but he's going to be brewing a beer, and we're going to be there while he's doing it. And we're going to chat to him about it.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun. So today's episode might be a little bit different in kind of makeup and potential sound quality, because we're going on location. We're going to be in an active brewery, which is on an industrial estate.
Yes.
So we're not taking all of our nice mics up there and stuff like that, because we just don't have the place to get it all set up. So we're taking a slightly smaller mic. So there's going to be a difference in the quality of sound, but it'll all be good.
You'll get used to it. Get used to it.
It'll be fine.
But before then, a quick beer ye.
He's got beer news.
It's the beer news. It's time. It's happening.
What's happening in the beer news, Mike?
So not anything super drastic, but there was a fire a couple of days ago.
I say it's not super drastic.
No.
There was a fire.
No, at Weyermann maltings in Germany. And so for anyone in the UK here that get a lot of German malts, they will recognise that name and that logo. It's sort of red on white stuff. It's lovely malt, really nice. There was not a lot of damage done. It was in the kiln, apparently, and no one was hurt.
Okay.
But it might change the flow of supply a little bit in the next coming few weeks. So
I mean, it might just be me being stupid here, right?
Yes.
Shouldn't there be a fire in the kiln?
Well, yes, but that fire got out of control, and there was fire trucks and everything, and it.
So it was an abnormal fire in the kiln.
Yes,
okay.
From what I can tell, so nothing's sort of burnt down. Nothing's gonna need extensive.
But it might interrupt flow.
It might
for
interrupt flow
while.
a little bit. So if you are looking for German malts, grab them now.
Yeah, grab them while they're hot.
Yeah.
That's bad.
No.
Okay, so that was some cracking beer news.
Yeah.
We're just about to jump in the car.
Yeah.
We're gonna head off. So you'll be able to join us in probably about a minute. It's not how long it takes us to get there. We're doing the magic of podcasting.
Woo.
So let's grab the car keys and we'll be back with you in a moment.
Hello, Andy. How are you doing?
Great, thanks, guys. Thanks for coming down.
That's quite all right.
Yeah,
Thanks for
you're
having us.
welcome. Yeah, it's a lovely little brewery you got here.
Little
nice.
being the main word there, yeah.
That's a good size. I think you've got everything you need to do. You've given us a quick tour around. It's about as full as I expected.
That's just started.
Good, we started drilling again. So we're on location. There's going to be some drilling. There's going to be, ambient noise. We will do our best to, kind of fill that out just so it sounds real nice for you.
Yeah. And of course all the ambient brewery noise as well, which is very important.
Yeah, running water, things like that.
So Elusive, can you tell us a little bit about the story? And
Yeah, so Elusive Brewery, we're based in Finchampstead in Berkshire. Probably better known for our noisy neighbours who I love to bits, Siren Craft Brew, who just won Champion Beer Britain, so amazing.
They did,
well done them, with Broken
awesome.
Dream. So we've been going for 2 years, 2 years in May just gone, and it was kind of born out of a homebrew hobby that got out of control. The homebrewing became a bit of an obsession of mine, and as I got better and better at it, I started doing quite well in competitions and things like that, and ended up being lucky enough to win a national competition that came with a nice check as a prize, and that became the deposit on the kit.
nice.
I was quite naive about how much it would all cost, but that was a start at least. And that beer, Level Up, that won that competition, is now one of our core beers.
Yes, I've had it many times.
Yeah,
lovely.
it's real good. I think I'm trying to think which level we're on at the moment at the pub. Is it level 6?
12,
12, is it?
Yeah.
Right. Maybe we just haven't changed our pump clips. I don't know.
But yeah, obviously you made the jump from homebrew to commercial brewing. Have you found sort of what big challenges, big surprises along the way?
I think the biggest surprise has been not on the brewing side, but more on the running a business side. So, I mean, Steve's here today. He's a brewer here. He does 2 or 3 days a week for us.
Hello, Steve.
Hi, Steve.
And for the first year and a bit, it was just me and kind of doing everything from the accounts to the sales to the deliveries to the VAT return to the duty to all of that aspects. All of those aspects was turned out to be a lot more work than I thought it would be.
Did you have much experience beforehand, like kind of running a business, or was that
none
at
all? But I did do my best to prepare by going spend a lot of time with other breweries, other small breweries.
Yeah.
And particularly Weirdbeard, the guys there who founded that are good friends of mine, and spent a lot of time sat with them, not just on the brewing side, but on let's go in the office and what you're doing, talking through their processes, their admin processes, things like that, and that was a big help for sure.
I can imagine that make a massive difference. So I think that's the bit I would struggle to get my head around, is just how to run it as a business, because you've got to get the sales out, especially if you're just a one-man operation. You've got to get used to being the salesman as well.
Yeah, and you have to have some kind of routine within the week. And I normally have Thursday's my delivery day. We brew on a Tuesday, or now we brew on a Thursday if we can as well, because Steve can take care of that. But you kind of have to be quite disciplined in having a routine. Like Monday was the admin day. Yeah. It's just having that discipline, and in a way, that's fine. But it does it limits your output. Like we were for our first year, I really couldn't brew more than once a week physically, because there was all the other stuff to get done.
Yes. Yeah.
And the brewing was almost secondary, which sounds bizarre, but to everything else that needs to get done. And it's definitely a bit of a balancing act, and that balance is quite hard to find. I mean, even now, it's a lot of hours, and you have to kind of swim it upstream a lot of the time.
Yeah. Do you ever find you time actually get into the pub and drink some beer?
Yeah, for sure. Try and get into the nags and so on, and as regularly as I can. And I like to weekends. I tend not to work too much at weekends. Yeah. Sunday evening tends to be a bit of an admin catch up and sales emails and things like that. Right. Anything else that needs doing to get ready for the week. But Saturday I'll try to not do anything at all. I might pop in to do some checks or whatever, to set a temperature, or it's minimal.
Very sensible.
I run hard Monday to Friday and try not to do too much at the weekend.
Yeah.
And have a bit of leisure time and try and drink some beer as well.
That's understandable, because if you're going to brew, you may as well enjoy drinking it as well.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, but so how did you find the time to write this book then? That you just got out?
It's a good point, Mike. So I didn't really have time to do it, and I had a photo. So the way it came about was last year I did some work for Camera on Camera books on bringing it. They had an American title they wanted to release in the UK, and it needed some, I guess, anglicisation, or at least let's make sure the terminology is correct. So it was like can you do a technical review of this text and make sure it makes sense for the European market and so on, British homebrewers. So I did that, and off the back of that, I got offered a chance to write this book. So the idea was to take one of Graham Wheeler's original texts. So Graham Wheeler sadly passed away late last year. He was I suppose you could say, one of the founding fathers of homebrew books. His texts are pretty famous, and what Cameron wanted to do was take his most recent iteration of his book and bring it right up to date, with kind of modern equipment and processes, some modern recipes from really up and coming craft breweries, some really good craft breweries, and make it kind of relevant to today's home brewer. So that was kind of the remit behind the book. It's what they wanted to achieve with it. So they rang me up late last year. Simon Hall, the head of publishing at Camera Books, said, "You fancy doing this?" And I don't really have time. And I thought,
your schedule.
Yeah, I thought, December, January for breweries are fairly steady, because you have the Christmas drinking. So the first 2 or 3 weeks of December are manic, and pubs fill their cellars to the brim.
Yeah.
And then it kind of drops off, so that Christmas to New Year period, the first 2 weeks of January, are pretty. They're catch up time for breweries, maintenance and things like that. I thought, if I can get it in then should be good. So I went home and said to my wife Jane, I've been offered this chance to write a book. She goes, "You said no, right? Like, you're too busy." And I said, "Well, I kind of said maybe." And And I ended up signing a deal to write it in late January, just when we were getting busy again.
Oh,
And as a result, it was maybe a month or two later than it should have been, but I'm pretty proud of it. So
I've had a brief read of most of it, and the chapter on water chemistry, I was particularly learning that as I was reading it, and so that was very helpful. Just that sort of concise, but exactly the right type of information to know.
Yeah, I think so. The first third of the book, which is on kind of ingredients, was the mostly Graham's text that we abbreviated to a degree and brought up to date. So Graham was water treatment was one of his things, and he had a really simple view of it. Like, if you're at home, just boil your water and take all that temporary hardness away. Commercially, it doesn't work to do that because it'd be expensive. It's a pain in the arse to move stuff around. But at home, that's a good thing to do, and then you can build up the water from there. So,
and our water is particularly hard. Does make delicious dark beers without any tweaking whatsoever. I mean,
because I had my water tested a couple of years back, and I do some water treatments. It's largely whether or not I can be bothered in my homebrew, but I don't know whether or not it's a recognisable difference for me at this level.
That's a good point, because one thing I added in that section was that it's quite easy to screw up water treatment and get it horribly wrong, and I think if you're worried about water treatment, then just go for it and don't bother. And see what result you get. Ultimately, it's fine tuning. You find that in the Thames Valley, your pale and hoppy beers might not pop as much as you'd like. Might have slightly muted flavours because you maybe mashing too high on the pH. But as you said, Mike, like the water is great for dark beers. We do very little treatment on dark beers. And if you're local to us, brewing us porter. Get used to your equipment and process, and then when you feel good about that and you're happy with that, then you can move on and get into water treatment. So it's a complex subject, but don't let that hold you back from having a go at home brewing.
No, not at all. The good thing about home brewing on a small sort of scale is if you mess it up, just try again. That's what I really like about it. The freedom that you have as a home brewer to just try whatever the hell you want. You can do some crazy stuff and just make some fun and interesting beers, which I imagine jumping up to the commercial level, you suddenly realise that the freedom of what you can do probably reduces because you've got to try and sell that beer to somebody, whereas I don't. I just have to try I struggle through or force it upon my friends and say, drink the beer, please drink the beer.
Yeah, definitely. That's maybe one thing on stepping up from a home brewer is thinking about just selling your beer. It's one thing brewing that awesome double IPA, but you're not going to shift it in volume. So you need to think about that for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and we've definitely seen some of your pins around. Pin being the volume of cask that's exactly half of a firkin, which most people know as the normal size of a cask. So pin is 4.5 gallons, I believe. But it's for your big double IPAs and your weird and wonderful stuff. They are fantastic. They're not committing too heavily to.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do. We do. We've only got 8 of those, but we'll pick and choose what things go into them. But some of our stronger bits that might be otherwise keg only can suit those.
Nice. So, what are we brewing today?
So we're brewing Plan B, which is our Belgian Pale Ale. So this is a beer we've had out as kind of a summer beer for the past 2 years. I was looking at the previous brew sheets yesterday, and it was Goal 10 originally, so one of our earlier brews, and then we rebrewed it twice last year, and this is the first brew of it this year. So it's a nod to kind of the Belgian pales. I'm a big fan of Taras Bulba from De La Seine, absolutely beautiful, and that's kind of a vibrant hoppy Belgian pale, and this is kind of a tribute to that.
Nice.
So it's fairly classic in its makeup. The grist is pale malt with a little bit of wheat. The Belgian pales would probably more likely be Pilsner malt.
Okay.
In fact, on Tuesday we brewed a Belgian IPA that was all Pilsner malt.
All Pilsner malt.
And then we use some New World hops. So we've got Vic Secret going into this, and this year L'Oreal, which is a
Okay.
new hop.
Yeah.
Which
I think
came
I've
ab-
seen it on lists, but not.
Yeah.
I've never come across it.
It came
Not
about.
in
I think
homebrew.
it was a trial variety until last year when they
Oh, okay.
released it with a name. But it's kind of I think it's like SARS, like a noble character
Yeah.
with that lemony thing, but it's really intense, and I think it will suit the beer well. We last year or up until now it was Vic Secret and Hormelon, so the SARS is replacing the Hormelon.
Yeah.
Giving it a bit more lemon, hopefully a bit more kind of spritz, and make it a bit more interesting on the nose. And the yeast. Last year, or up until now, we've used T58, which is a Belgian yeast of unknown variety. The dry yeast, you don't really know where they come from. That they can be. Sometimes you can find out. That's believed to be one of the Belgian family brewers kind of yeast,
nice.
as I believe. But we're using a yeast we had cultured proper for us, which is close to the Duvel strain in this beer. So really beer on Tuesday.
As they can, and
Yeah,
it's just
pitching
good
back
to-
on the yeast cakes and various
Yeah,
good
I mean,
to see it happening on.
it's interesting. Like on a homebrew scale, I used to use wet and dried yeast as a home brewer, but the most you could probably spend on a wet pitch was maybe like £8 or something for one of the Y yeast packets.
yeah.
To have a 5-barrel prop is 170 quid. So
Wow.
we want to make sure that we use that. I
Yeah.
mean, twice. I'm happy with that. I'd rather use it 3 or 4 times, but I don't want to have like lots of Belgian style beer to sell, much as I love them. It's not kind of core to what we do, and I'm maybe a bit too self-indulgent.
That's all right. You got anything you want to chuck it in if there's something going?
Well, unfortunately, nothing at the moment. But I'm always happy to collect some yeast and have little vials. I always kind of wanted to start a little yeast lab in my kitchen, but my flatmates, accepting of my hobby. But I don't think he'd be happy if I, had a little clean room going on and started culturing my own.
Yeah,
yeast.
that'd be a lot of fun for sure. But I think we're gonna, at the end of the fermentation here, we'll grab a little bit and maybe wash it and look at something in a few weeks' time.
Yeah.
Nice.
I do like the Belgian stouts, and that might be a interesting one to pick up.
London Stout.
Maybe in September for the colder months.
With that famous Thames Valley water.
Indeed, yeah.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, just reusing yeast. Like you say, it as a home brewer, like a vial of wet yeast is expensive. It's makes up a big part of the bill at the end of the day, and being able to reuse it, it just adds just a little extra bit of life to the beer, I think, which is good. But yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Have you done much water treatment for this?
We've done some acidification, and we use lactic acid in this case, which should give a good clean acidity to the water, and that's all about getting the mash pH in range. So if we didn't treat our water at all, we'd probably hit around 6 on the mash pH.
Okay.
And we want that to be, in this case, 5.2, 5.3, and just bringing that down. And the other thing we've done is add some gypsum and calcium chloride. We want this style of IPA to be quite crisp. If you think about the New England style, where it's really soft, so that's kind of defined by the ratio of chloride to sulfate. This is sulfate heavy. Your New England style will be chloride heavy. But this is 2-1 on the chloride to sulfate. If you want to get technical on it, but that's
some people do.
that's where we pitched it.
Oh, awesome.
Nice. And what are your plans considering the dispense method? Sort of, are you going cask or keg?
So
bottle?
we'll be keg heavier on this. So most of that, like our core range, is all designed to work in cask and keg. We don't keg too much of the Sunset Rider, which is at 3.8% pale.
Yeah.
But the other beers we have, which is Level Up, Sphere of Destiny, and Overdrive, we put in both. So that they work in either. When we do something a bit out of the ordinary, we don't rack as much into cask. We'll maybe do more keg, and we find that works better on the sales side. But this time of year, it's beer festival season, and it's quite funny. We can have the wackiest thing in cask, and there'll be a festival to go, hey, we'll take that, something different. So we'll probably do a couple of casks of the Belgian IPA of this, and we've got some customers that are good cask customers that like a diverse range as well. The Nag Said in Reading being a great example. So they're not frightened to put a sour or something like that in cask and put it on the bar.
We've definitely had some interesting things on cask. And the good thing is we have the customers to buy it as well. There, like there's a lot of people I think would prefer cask over keg, especially in the bar setup we've got and the customers we have. So it's quite nice being able to get a good range and being able to try them. At least personally, being able to try a beer on cask and on keg, so the same beer, is quite interesting just to see how it changes.
Yeah, definitely.
What flavours you pick out more,
and just see whether or not like the carbonation affects things, like the temperature that it's served at. Makes a big difference. It is interesting. It's nice to get a range.
Yeah. So it sounds like it's going to be a very, very delicious Belgian IPA. Looking forward to
I hope
it.
so. Yeah.
Yeah. Shall we try some other ones?
I think it's probably worth having a little try some beer.
Yeah. So what have we got here, Andy?
So this is the an antique bottle of the very first brewer Plan B. So we brewed this in June 2016. So we started brewing in May. So it was one of our earliest brews. The label artwork is quite fun.
I like it.
It's it
June 2016, if you might remember, was a certain referendum.
Yes.
And this is and the colours, if you look at it, might look familiar.
Yes.
So
Name in, no name.
something of a protest beer.
Yeah. But it's very consistent with your aesthetic of having the sort of pixel art.
Exactly. Our branding is all 8-bit retro gaming inspired, and this is a depiction of the Terminator and inspired by the Terminator.
Yeah.
And good clarification.
And another image inspired by a person.
I think we'll probably take a photo of it and stick it up on Twitter just so people can see exactly what it is we're talking about.
So it might look familiar to you, but you'd be wrong to think that it was that thing.
Yeah.
Without being too vague, the guys will post a picture of it. It's kind of a good fun 8-bit label. Plan B, actually, there's a link there. Plan B was one of my favourite Acorn Electron games with a little droid that you steer around the map, shooting at things. So the name is a reference to, like many of our games, many of our beers, to an Acorn Electron game.
Right. Yeah. Is that just had a massive influence on you when you
were a kid? Like when I was a kid, I think I was about 8, I got my Acorn Electron, and when I could get my dad off it playing Football Manager, I do a bit of programming and learn all that kind of stuff. So
nice.
It's I guess childhood memories and playing those games, and that's what inspires a lot of our names for our beers.
Yes. I mean, the thing is, the artwork is so unique. You can always walk into a bar and just go, and you just see the pump clip and you know exactly what brewery.
Yeah, it's part of the idea behind the brand was to have that kind of things that would just pop in colour on the bar. So we always use kind of an 8-bit palette, and they're very bright and vibrant colours. It does stand out on a bar. I think that's important.
Definitely. I mean, it's something I look a lot at. Working behind the bar, just seeing like the different pump clips, look at the branding, and you can't help but just judge the beers, like straight away, just looking at it, just like. Yeah, I'm gonna like that. I'm probably gonna like that. Yeah,
I think it's like consumers. It's not uncommon to walk into a pub that's got 20 beers on these days. So what do you judge it on? I tend to find myself picking breweries that I've got kind of pitched in that reliable bubble. Like a Thornbridge or someone like that. It's like, I know it's going to be good, so that's my safe bet. I'll get half of that while I study the rest of it. And see what else I fancy. So you're right. It's kind of inspires your choice.
Yeah, it definitely makes a big difference, and just like brand recognition as well. Just being able to go, I know this brewery. But
so, despite it being a couple of years old, what should we be picking out?
So, the original brew of this was 3.7%, so it's not a big hitting beer. On the nose, you should get some of that kind of. The hops in this were Hull Melon and Vic's Secret. Vic's Secret is kind of stone fruit. Hull Melon is named after melon, of course, slightly melony. And then.
So you've gone away from citrus, sort of big.
Indeed, And the T58 yeast gives a kind of peppery ester, so that kind of black pepper vibe to it, which I can still pick up on this bottle despite it being fairly old.
Do you find that the sort of yeast flavours stick around a bit longer than the
for
hop
sure?
flavours?
Yeah, I mean, if you think about, if you ever tried an old bottle of Westmail Triple, it doesn't lose that kind of clove, that pepperiness.
No.
It might gain a bit of sweetness or whatever is the hop stock way maybe. But it's quite interesting to they've got longevity, these styles, for sure.
So yeah, it doesn't quite have the punch of hops that presumably this new batch will have.
The hops are definitely settled down in this. They're 2 years old. It's probably been in the fridge for 2 years actually. One I just grabbed out, but
there we go. I've gone in for a sip.
Yeah, it's very refreshing.
Yeah.
Despite it, obviously, like I say, it's 2 years old, but it's still got real nice clean taste to it. And like I say, that a sort of like pepperiness of the yeast is still.
Yeah,
definitely present.
The beer was kind of designed as a summer beer that you could just drink by the pint. At 3.7. The release last year was 4.2. We did boost it a little bit because I thought it was a little bit thin originally. It's got kind of, it's not an in-your-face hop monster. It never was. It's kind of that balance of the hops and the yeast with a bit of a malt in the background. So it's not like no one element is like pow in your face. Just fairly nuanced and balanced.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of that balance rather than anything spiking in my face.
I think that's the joy of some of those Belgian beers. They're just supremely drinkable. Even though it might be 8%, you can sit there and sip it away and not notice it.
That's normally where it gets a bit dangerous.
Yeah, for sure.
You go to a pub and you're like, I love a bit of that. And you're like, well, this is just dangerously drinkable. Whereas this, like 3.7%, it's a perfect kind of summer's day beer. Like you don't want anything too cloying, and when the alcohol increases, you can find it just gets a bit much, especially if you're drinking it on cask by the pint.
Yeah.
Whereas that, it's real nice, clean, and crisp. It's good.
Yeah. Good work. 2
Cheers.
years ago.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Should we try?
Let's try something else.
I think so. That's a good idea.
Okay, so what have we got now?
So this is some fermenting wort from FP3. On Tuesday, so we're now Friday. In fact, no, it was Wednesday. 2 days ago, we brewed with Unity, who are based in Southampton. Jimmy, the head brewer and owner there, is big on his Belgian beers. Something we have in common. And we're both huge fans of Duranka Double X Bitter. So last year we brewed a tribute to that we called Extra Life with 2 X's. So play on our video game theme, but a nod to their Double X nomenclature. This version is a tribute to their Triple X Bitter, which is, according to the information we could find, is similar in all but the fact it's got more hops in. So same ABV, same grist, but it's got a lot more Hallertau Mittelfrüh. So we brewed this 2 days ago. It's got a pitch of the Duvel yeast in there, and already I'm picking up that kind of slight orange kind of honeysuckle vibe to it.
I'm
not sure. I should have checked the gravity before we started sampling this, but I imagine it's probably about halfway through its fermentation by now.
In 2 days?
In 2 days, yeah. Broadly, wet yeast gets going quite quickly. It was packaged the day that we pitched it, super fresh from Shawbrew over in Godalming. The hell of a lot of Mittelfrüh. So in the original brew we had, I think we had 7 kilos at flame out. So we brew at 5 hour brew 800 litres a batch. So the information we could find suggested that Double X Bitter is bittered with First Gold, and then has a Roma edition of Mittelfrüh.
Yeah.
The Double X version is higher bitterness and more flame out hops, so the Triple X version. So it would have meant a hell of a lot of hops for bittering, and then even more for flame out. So we had 10 kilos going in at flame out. So we decided to bitter with CO2 extract rather than boil 3 kilos of hops and end up with 13 in the copper and have a slow run off and all that, and lose a lot of work. So this had a 10 kilo edition. The Mittelfrüh is quite noble in its character. It's delicate, it's floral, and that for me is the joy of that beer, is that kind of floral earthiness that you get on the nose that's alongside the yeast. It makes for a lovely aroma in Double X Bitter.
And it is definitely present in the aroma.
It's coming through now. The wort was supremely hoppy and smelled great.
Right, well, I'm going in for a taste. Let's see.
It smells amazing. Like just that, the sweetness that's there. Like the honeysuckle.
Yeah.
It's absolutely amazing.
That is really good. Yeah. obviously you've got a lot of that wort sweetness
Yeah.
there present, and that will drop out as it ferments a lot more. But yeah, there's some very nice big round flavours there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always, I always find it quite good to taste like during fermentation, just so you can see how things are changing. Not that there's really a lot you can do about it at the time, but it just gives you an idea. So the next time you come round to doing it, you can go, right, okay, what do I need to change? Or at least when you're tasting it the second time round, you go, okay, everything's on track to make the same.
Yeah, that's a really, really good point. I mean, that's back to stepping up from a home brewer. Obviously, as a professional brewer, I taste the beer regularly every day, usually from tank, which at Gravity. And I learned a lot about fermentation byproducts and esters. I mean, at the minute, there's a very slight plastic phenol on the nose there, which is a byproduct of that yeast that it will clean up as it gets towards the end of fermentation. First time I brewed Lord Nelson, our Saison, I came in the next day and the brewery smelled of plastic. I'm like, oh my God, these are the most expensive hops. I've used all of my yearly amount. And I learned that, don't worry about that kind of thing and give it a few days and give it time. As a home brewer, I didn't really sample beer from the fermenter very often because it was a sealed plastic bucket. I didn't want to disturb it, and so you would leave it a week and then you try it, and by then, of course, primary's finished pretty much. And it should taste like beer.
And I think you miss a lot, like you say, those learning steps. Going, okay, this will clean up, this will work out in the long run. And that, as a home brewer, I've found that many times where I've went, oh no, I've whiffed it, and then it's just like, oh no, if you leave it, it's fine, and it always is fine. Yeah, that's the thing.
It's like with it when you brew an English style, you have almost, if you use like a SO4 or whatever, it throws sulphur.
Yes.
And you're like, it smells like fart, it smells horrible. Like, give it a few days and
leave it.
We'll sort
it dies down, and always ends up all right.
Yeah, beer used to want to tend beer towards beer, so it's...
that's it. It's weird what you'll do with selective breeding.
Yeah. Delicious though.
Should we try the next one then?
Yeah, let's...
Right, Mike, what we got here?
Right, we've got... it's a collaboration between Weird Beard and Tiny Rebel.
Yeah.
And it's a beer that Andy's had a few times already. It's called Cardinal Wolf, and it is a Belgian double IPA. No, Belgian double IPA. I should put the emphasis on the bit that's unusual about it today. At 8.4%.
8.4%,
Yeah. And looking sort of amberish in colour, and I didn't put it in the fridge quick enough, so as usual it's not settled out and it's not as cold as it should be. But that's Mike for you.
That's all right. You're pretty good at it.
Yeah. I'm not sure as to the freshness on this one, so...
I think we're looking at a best before 23rd of this month, so we're alright.
We're alright.
But I mean, at that percentage, I don't think we need to worry too much about it. But...
it's just about how much of the hop character is...
It's got a real strong nose on it.
Yeah, definitely. The hops are really dominant on the nose.
Yeah.
You get almost like when you have like open a tin of peaches and you taste the syrup, you smell that kind of...
It's just got that sweetness.
Peach, maybe the pineapple
pineapple
chunk syrup.
Citrus.
It
smells amazing.
I can smell a little bit of that booziness that you get from the stronger beers, but that's nothing that we've had so far has been particularly busy.
No. So like
regard,
that, it's just a strong syrup smell.
Yeah, that's lovely.
Oh, that's good.
I'm not sure which yeast strain I used with this one. I assume a Belgian yeast strain. May well have been T58, which is really accessible and easy to use. So,
yeah, that is big and round.
You get maybe some of that pepperiness there lurking behind the hops.
Yeah, the hops definitely dominate that. But yeah, there's hints of yeasty flavours coming through.
I think it's like for me, it's more so like at the end, like the aftertaste. I'm getting the yeast, and not a real powerful bitterness, but that's really good.
Yeah, it is tricky when they're that strong to get it that sort of crisp, dry.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of the Weird Beard artwork. With each beer features a different skull character, or bearded
with
character,
a different type of beard.
And here we've got Cardinal Wolf with a kind of goatee beard and big ears.
It's two breweries which, like, personally, I think just nail like the artwork and everything. Like Tiny Rebel and Weird Beard, like Tiny Rebel, I think are amazing for their artwork. I always really enjoy everything they do, despite how much trouble they seem to get into for doing it. And Weird Beard, like I say, they just do some real interesting stuff.
Yeah, they always stand out on the shelf. It's recognisably Weird Beard with that shape they have on the front with the kind of triangular bits that stick up, and you can spot them from across the shop for sure.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah, it's definitely got the drinkability of a strong Belgian ale.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier. Like the Belgian beers, even 8% tend to be supremely drinkable, and this is kind of there. I could happily drink a couple of bottles of that, and you'd probably be quite drunk. But not notice it creeping up on you.
Exactly.
Sit out in your garden and realise you can't walk back in the house. That's always the issue. Right, now before I drink too much of that, because I got dragged back, should we try something else?
Yeah, alright, let's try one more. Cool, one last beer today then, and it's one of yours again, Andy. It's also featured in your book, The Camera's Essential Home Brewing.
Yeah, indeed.
What have we got?
So we've got Level Up, and this is version 12 Cashmere and Simcoe, which is was the one at time of going to press of the book, actually, because I mentioned it in the little subnote around the fact that we rotate hops on this beer. Level Up's an American red, 5% ABV, so it's kind of amber red in colour.
Yeah.
And this beer is all about balancing malt with hops. So it's quite malt forward in a way. It's lots of crystal malts, lots of Munich. So it's that kind of chewy, thick sweetness that means we can throw a lot of hops at it.
Yeah. I've had a brief look at a lot more extensive than I assumed it would be, it's in the book as well if you want to have a look at it later. But it's a very nice complex malt, and then as you say, there's plenty of hops.
Yeah, the taste, the balance is really, really good. Like I like a really good, hoppy IPA, but just something with a nice malt base, just to help, kind of balance out the hops, just makes such a big difference. So American Red is probably one of my preferred styles of beers. I do like an IPA on a hot day, but a good American Red you can't beat.
Yeah, I think me too. And I think trying to think back to what inspired this, it was definitely like the first time I tried Brewdog 5am Saint on cask at Woking Beer Festival.
Wow, that
was about 2009 or 10 maybe, and it just blew me away. Like it had the beautiful aroma, but all that lovely malty body. And for me, even still, if I go in a Brewdog bar, it's hard to resist ordering a bit of 5am Saint. And probably my favourite in the style is Hophead Red from Green Flash.
Okay.
Which is slightly stronger ABV, I think, from memory, but still that kind of the classic West Coast hop nose with all that kind of chewy malt. We rotate the hops. So these are both West Coast hops. So we do play around a lot. Like version 13 was Kiwi hops, Green Bullet, and Southern Cross, and 14 we went back to the classics with some Columbus, Citra, and so on. So we do play around with it a bit, but because the hop isn't the dominant character of the beer,
definitely present.
I don't feel bad doing that. It was kind of born out of necessity originally, because the original Level Up, the homebrew version, was Citra and Simcoe, and when we started as a brewery, we just couldn't get those hops. 2016 wasn't a great year for the spot market and buying what you wanted. And those hops obviously in demand. These days we can contract what we want to contract, but back then I only had enough Citra and Simcoe to brew Level Up twice.
Right. Okay.
And as it was going to be our core beer, I thought, well, that's not going to be good enough. So I brewed one batch for cask, one batch for keg, and then we just changed the hops. And Level 2, I can't remember what it was even, but it just kind of kept us going. Yeah, but it does suit the name and the branding well as well. So.
Each time it levels up, I think something changes. I think it works really well, and I think it's something that fans of the beer have come to expect. They like a change in the hops and a change in the beer just to see how things have moved on. But no, that's really good. I really like it.
Yeah, nice and got that malty sweetness. It's not too dry, and then the big hop flavour as well. Lovely.
Well, I think on that note, it's probably worth wrapping up.
Okay.
Because, I need to drive home at some point. I think if we drink more beer, it's not going to work all very well. So,
cool.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thanks for coming down,
Andy,
guys.
And fantastic beer.
Cheers.
Right, well, now that we're back in the house, that was a good day.
It was a really
good trip out, wasn't it?
Lovely. Thank you very much to Andy Parker for accommodating us for a little trip down his wonderful yet elusive brewery.
It was. It was a little bit elusive. It took us a little while to find it because we were like, yeah, we know where it is. Like, got the sat nav, went up there, and it was like, I'm sure it was here, but no, it was behind us.
Yeah, the whole time.
The whole time. I mean, not the whole time, but until we found where it was behind us.
And of course, those of you who are aware of the local area, Elusive Brewery is almost exactly right next to Sirencraft Brewery with their fabulous tap yard, which we also, we were in the area.
So we went along.
We had to go and check that out as well, and that's a lovely little place.
It is. It is nice up there. It does get very busy up there, though.
Yeah. So if you're in Finchampstead, and
as you do,
if you just happen to be in Finchampstead, definitely go check them both out. It's a fantastic time, and also don't forget to check out Andy's new book. It's called Cameras Essential Homebrewing. There is a lot of very interesting recipes in there as well from very contemporary craft beer breweries, including Elusive and Sirencraft and many more. It takes too long to say.
It's a very informative book for home brewers, especially. Real up to date, very very good information, very comprehensive.
Yeah.
So I think we've had a big day out. We're all tuckered out now.
Oh yes,
and,
cup of tea in hand.
Yep, cup of tea. Probably a sandwich or two.
Ooh,
and
lovely.
I think that's probably enough from us.
Yeah.
So
we won't try the wort just yet. We'll try the beer when it's done, when it's on the shelves.
Yeah, we will. I'm really looking forward to it.
So, Cal, how's the tea?
Oh, it's lovely.
Yeah.
Bye. Bye.